Good morning. Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our congregations in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, and all of our folks online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. This morning is a special Sunday where we're going to talk about the importance of our hymns and why we sing and what we sing and how all of that matters. So I hope you enjoy this special hymn service. To all who are here this morning, welcome home.
Hello, am I on? Yes. We appreciate your attention to this morning's announcements, and you'll find announcements in our order of service or on the slides for those of you at home. And if you require accommodations during the service today, our ushers are here to assist. Please fill out your connection card. Notice the opportunities at the bottom. Folks online, your connection card is in the link in the description or should be in the chat. We appreciate everyone filling out the connection card. The staff goes through them every week. Thanks to all the folks diligently working on the playground. If you've not turned in your pledge card from our pledge form, our stewardship folks will be happy to give you a packet. We would love for those to be turned in as soon as possible. And if you haven't filled it out, please take the packet today and save us on postage. Save the date, mark your calendars for August 4th through August 7th. That's going to be our church retreat at the Mountain in Highlands, North Carolina. The reservation system is open for the Mountain website. Watch your email for a link to register. And the prices will increase after June 1st. Today, after service, if you'd like to learn more about our church, we invite you to our new member class. And it's going to be in the Voca room downstairs with Reverend Julie. Also after service, Trey Tarrant is facilitating a discussion on spring landscaping. So if you're interested in hearing from Trey, who's an expert in this field, please go to the youth room. It's the last room on the right before the Voca room. Also, immediately after service, there'll be a humanist meeting downstairs in the Grady Nunn Library. If you're a parent of a child in the RE program, please join us in the center room downstairs for a parent discussion each Sunday during RE hour. The prelude prepares us for worship. Please rise in body or spirit for the lighting of the chalice. When it feels like lament is the only need, back up, stop, let me rewind. When it feels like lament is the only sound and need the only way of being, here is that one room, warm room where you know you belong. You know is waiting, open, ready. Here is that place you remember where you are remembered in this too cold world. This place calls now, softly. Come into the circle where you know that you belong. We light our chalice in honor of this place where we belong. Please, in the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, take a few moments, greet those around you, and especially those you may not know. Please be seated for the opening words. There is nothing you need to bring with you to be welcome here. No right beliefs or proof of citizenship, no eternal optimism or clarity of conviction, no boundless courage or endless expertise. You do not need to know what brought you here or how you will solve that problem which you are turning over and over in your mind. Your bills do not need to be paid. Your checkbook can be a mess. Your children may have been up half the night. Your hearing aids may not be working, and your knees might be creaking, not cracking. Well, they could be doing both. Okay, you do not need to be already perfect or even halfway to belong in this circle where grace meets us where we are, but does not leave us as it found us. Where love resides in each of us, yet is somehow more than all. Where life still pulses and rages and heals and transforms, creating us and this day anew once again. Come, let us worship together. And please rise in body or spirit and join in singing the opening hymn, number 188 in the hardcover hymnal, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
This hymn is a round, so I have 4 nice people to help lead the section. So we'll have section 1, led by Trey, section 2, Kimberly, Susan, Andy. And we'll sing it 1 time all together, and then 3 more times as the round.
Good morning. My name is Kate Staub, and I am the Vice President of the Church Board. Our church is supported by those who call this church home and by those who support the efforts of this church to change our world for the better. If you are visiting for the first time today, you can just pass the plate when it comes around. You are our guest, and we're just really glad that you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values, which are to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Our Share the Plate recipient this month is for the Alabama Rivers Alliance. So Alabama Rivers Alliance is a statewide network of different groups that work to protect and restore Alabama's river systems, our water resources, through building partnerships, empowering citizens, and advocating for sound water policy. So we appreciate your donations today, whether you're placing them in the plate when it comes around or mailing your donation to the church. You can also use PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Our Zelle account is office@uucbham.org. And you can designate whether your offering is just for the church or just for our Share the Plate recipient. And if you don't designate which is which, we'll just split it down the middle. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Now is that time in our community when we share what is on our hearts, joy or sorrow. For those of you online, please share your joys and sorrows in the chat. And remember to hold others by putting a parenthesis around their names. For those of you in person today, you are now invited to come forward and drop a stone in honor or in memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. Do it together. Good morning. Nice of us. Morning, guys. Got it. I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm so glad. Good morning, kiddos. Come here, Lola. Mama's so strong. Today we celebrate with all of our pagan folks who are celebrating Ostara today. If you would like to join them for their celebration, it's back up here at the church at 2 p.m. We also have a couple folks to lift up this morning. I lift up my sweet Ezio, who's currently in the ER getting some breathing treatments. So, love to you, Ezio. And we also lift up Virginia Volker, who lost her husband, Joe Knott, yesterday. So please keep Virginia in your thoughts and prayers this week. She is just devastated, and Nancy Grove has set up a meal train, so if you are able to take meals to Virginia at some point in the next few weeks, please get in touch with Nancy or get that meal train. We'll send that out in an email tomorrow, but we want to show Virginia how much we love and care for her. So please reach out if you know Virginia and on this incredible loss. And I will also let the congregation know when his memorial service is planned. If you have any updates that you'd like me to share with the congregation, please let me know. Today we're going to do the spirit of meditation a little bit differently. We're going to sing together Meditation on Breathing, hymn 1009 in your softcover hymnal. So I invite you to join with me in singing. We're going to sing it 3 times, our meditation on breathing. Let us take a moment of silence together. Amen and blessed be. Will the children please come forward?
As I stare at the microphone, trying to figure out if it's on. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, you know what? It is the season for colds and allergies. All these trees and flowers blooming. Sniffles are kind of the run of the course. And yeah, cooties. Hi, Tuscaloosa, and all our friends online. So, I have a story to share this morning. So, downstairs, we've been talking about vulnerability. So, and one of the things we were talking about being vulnerable is sometimes worry. Worry makes you feel very vulnerable. And so I have a story today called Ruby's Worry. So we'll see how Ruby handles her worry. Let's see here. So, Ruby loved being Ruby. She loved to swing up high. Does anybody here like to swing high? Me. Finn likes to swing up high too. And she loved to explore wild, faraway places. Anymes she even went all the way to the very bottom of the garden. Oh, that is very far and wild. Does anyone here like to explore? I feel like we have a lot of explorers. Ruby was perfectly happy until one day, one day she discovered a worry. But it wasn't a very big worry. Oh, see, there's her worry right there. Do you see it? It is kind of a cute worry, really. A cute little worry. Let's see what happens if it stays cute. In fact, it was so small that at first, Ruby hardly even noticed it. But then the worry started to grow. Uh-oh. It's getting bigger. Each day, it got a little bit bigger, and it just wouldn't leave her alone. It was there at breakfast, staring over her cereal box. Oh my goodness. And it was still there at night when she cleaned her teeth, and it keeps getting bigger. The funny thing was, no one else could see Ruby's worry. Not even her teacher. How does her teacher miss that big worry? I don't know. So Ruby pretended like she didn't see it either. It's her worry, you're right. She tried to carry on like everything was normal, but it just wasn't. The worry was always there, stopping her from doing things that she loved. She can't even fit on the swing. And she really likes to swing up high, remember? So sad. Ruby wondered if it would ever go away. What if it didn't? What if it was with her forever? Ruby didn't realize, though, that she was doing the very worst thing you could ever do with a worry. What do you think that is? She was worrying about it. Exactly. Now, the worry was enormous. It's enormous. It could barely fit into the kitchen at tea time, and it filled up half of a school bus. Good grief. Uh-oh. I don't know if you're ready for this one. It took up so many rows at the movie theater. He does look like he's having fun at the movie. It must be a good movie. The worry became the only thing that Ruby could even think about, and it seemed like she would never feel happy again. And then one day, something unexpected happened. Ruby noticed a boy sitting in the park, and he looked how she felt, sad. And then she noticed something else. What's that? Another worry. Exactly. She noticed something else, something hovering next to him. Could it be a worry? Oh my goodness. It is a blue worry. His worry is blue, and Ruby's worry is yellow. It was. Ruby realized she wasn't the only person with a worry after all. Other people had them too. She asked the boy what was on his mind. As he told her, the strangest thing began to happen. What do you think happened? His worry began to shrink. Look. Oh my goodness. And then Ruby did the very best thing that you can do if you have a worry. She talked about it. Yeah. And as the words tumbled out, Ruby's worry began to shrink until it was gone. It was barely there at all. Soon, both of their worries were gone. Finally, Ruby felt like herself again. Of course, that wasn't the last time she had a worry. Everyone gets them from time to time. But now she knew how to get rid of them. And they didn't hang around for long. The end. The end. It is a cute. So now we know we can talk about our worries. We've talked about that downstairs, grown-ups, but we wanted to share it with you so you know you can talk about your worries too. So y'all ready to go downstairs? Could y'all sing us downstairs, please?
the choir kindly gave me the anthem that we're about to sing for my birthday, which was back in February. So we hope you love it as much as we do.
So I was intending to get up in the pulpit and talk about the importance of music in our Sunday services, and I think the choir done preached my sermon for me. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing Jen's birthday gift with us. All right. For this sermon, you're going to want to have your hymnals ready and also this very ugly little leaflet I made very last minute. But I'm going to start off with a question for reflection, which is, what was the first song that you memorized? Can everyone think of that first song that you memorized? After I first affirmed myself as a Unitarian Universalist, I attended a few services before inviting my doggedly atheist husband to join me. He was reluctant, to say the least. When I finally convinced him to join me at a service, It was a particularly enriching Sunday like today's, with a lot of energy. And I was jazzed about this new faith tradition where I felt so at home. Maybe some of you have been there. Immediately upon leaving the service, I grinned in his face and said, "So what did you think?" And his response, "Well, it felt a lot like Catholic Mass, except there was no kneeling." And I said, but the message, it was so different, and the words to the hymns and the readings and all of those things, the values are just like ours. This conversation spiraled into a deeper discussion about the significance of ritual, the importance of structure, and differences in messaging about the divine and spirituality. One of the participants at our new member class last week asked me why we call ourselves a church and not a community center or something else. And it was a great question. I have been asked that question a zillion times since I've been here. For at least half of the members in our congregations, the word church is a bit repulsive. And I am not over-exaggerating. For the other half, the word church gives them a context of what to expect. For visitors, our Sunday morning rituals are similar to many other Protestant denominations with a sprinkling of unique traditions. Like other Protestant services, our service includes readings, igniting a flame of some kind, a minister wearing ancient garments that no one knows why, giving a sermon, and singing, both as a congregation and hopefully with the gifts of the choir. For some, these rituals are important for us to blend into our greater community. For others, these rituals are a vestige of an ancient past that should maybe stay in the past. Everything we do in preparation for this service, choosing the readings, the hymns, the anthems, every special moment, every word of these sermons is carefully curated each Sunday. Some people don't believe that I actually write my sermons every week. They're not on some database somewhere for me to download. We hope when we do all this, when we curate all those pieces, that you all leave inspired and comforted and valued and stirred to action, or maybe a step along further on your spiritual journey. Today, I want to focus on the hymns of the service. Not only what we sing, but why we sing. Due to the amount of content, I'm only focusing today on the older hardcover hymnal to talk about, but we will end our service singing a classic from our softcover hymnal. Now, please pull out your hardcover hymnal in usual me format. When I decided I was going to undertake this sermon, I was like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll just pull out a couple hymns and talk about it. Well, the book is a little bit bigger once I realized how big of a chunk I had taken off to bite. But we're going to do our best. So 3 pages in, you'll notice that we have a beautiful table of contents. And our hymnal is not organized alphabetically. That would make sense, but it's not. It's organized in a much more precise fashion for our specific tradition. It is organized based on the sources which inform our principles. You'll find once you flip past hymn number 415, there is a collection of readings from the sources as well. And at the very back of the hymnal, you'll find where Jim and I spend a lot of our time, which is looking through the indexes. You've got first lines, you've got the tunes, and the things I don't understand that Chip looks at. You've got all kinds of ways that the hymns are organized back here as well. So if you're looking for something, that's where you find it. Many of the hymns that we sing are familiar songs from other traditions, like This Is My Song. You've probably heard that one before, yes, whether here or in another context. Or maybe you have heard For the Beauty of the Earth, a beautiful song for this spring morning. Whenever possible, our faith tradition has rewritten lyrics or omitted or added verses to be more inclusive of our diverse theology and our diverse people. A good example of this is the song we will sing in a couple of weeks, Lo, the Earth Awakes Again. Now, if you grew up in a Christian church, you probably recognize that tune, but you were probably saying much different words, am I right? So our words here are, Lo, the earth awakes again. When we sing these hymns, these old hymns that have new meaning to us, we do it often because of the familiarity and the comforting melody that reminds us that we are connected to a much longer tradition of ancestors from all over, and as well as connecting us to a lot of places. We also want to remember, our visitors and new members who are coming to us from other traditions. It's comforting to have a tune that you already know. You may just need to update the language. So we often adapt those words to help our theological diversity. We also sing other hymns to remind us of our Unitarian Universalist history. The words to A Mighty Fortress were written by Martin Luther, the same Martin Luther who nailed the 95 Theses to that church door in Germany. The translation from the original German was through the work of a Unitarian minister named Frederick Henry Hedge. And while we don't include the Battle Hymn of the Republic in our hymnal, it was written by Unitarian Julia Ward Howe to remember the history of the Unitarians and the Universalists during the Civil War, who were fighting on both sides of the slavery issue, and she was challenging them to remember the inherent worth and dignity of all people and to come together for the abolition of slavery and respect for all humanity. We sing Bread and Roses nearly every Labor Day, even though it is a very different song, but it's a reminder of our Unitarians and Universalists during the labor movement, who were very active and remained very active at remembering that all work is valid and people should be compensated fairly. One of the most clear hymns about UU history is As Tranquil Streams, which is a hymn written after the merger between the Unitarians and Universalists in 1961, and one which has strikingly powerful imagery when we consider the partnership between our two churches in Birmingham and in Tuscaloosa. We sing other hymns to remind us of our unique Unitarian Universalist theology. We began this service by singing, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. It is one of the favorites of our tradition. And the lyrics were written in the 13th century by Persian Sufi mystic Rumi. And the music was written by contemporary UU minister Reverend Lynn Ungar. It's a beautiful example of humanist theology and process theology, which reminds us that what unites us all is in the midst of our work with each other. That is where the love is and the connection is between that space between you and I as we narrow it and connect with one another. Another example of our theology is in Faith of a Larger Liberty, the music of which is very old and stodgy, but the third verse says this: faith for the people everywhere, whatever their oppression, of all who make the world more fair, living their faith's confession. Faith of the free, whatever our plight, thy law, thy liberty, thy light shall be our blessed possession. We also regularly sing hymn 113, Where is Our Holy Church? A hymn that has the word holy written over and over and over. And the great irony of this is that the music for this hymn is over 500 years old, but it was Unitarian humanist Edwin Henry Wilson who wrote these lyrics, reminding us that the holy is within each of us, in our relationships with each other, in how we show our love to one another. Let's take a moment and flip to number 113, and we're going to sing verses 1 and 3 together now. And those of you in Tuscaloosa or online, please join us. And remember that it is a Unitarian humanist who wrote this piece. The purpose is the questions. As we sing together, let us focus on what we are singing. See the difference when we focus on what we are saying? What we are saying matters. It's not just that ritual. One of my favorite hymns recently is not an easy song to sing, but it is a poem from Unitarian William Herbert Caruth. And he wrote a poem called Each in His Own Tongue. Put to music, this poem is hymn number 343, A Fire Mist and a Planet. And the first verse goes like this: a fire mist and a planet, a crystal and a cell, a jellyfish and a saurian, and caves where the cavemen dwell. Then a sense of law and beauty, and a face turned from the clod. Some call it evolution, and others call it God. Let us sing this one together. In the last line of each verse, its purpose. that in these congregations, depending on our own personal beliefs, we use different words to describe the same concepts. We sing what we sing for a variety of reasons. For the comfort of old tunes set to updated lyrics, for reminders of our Unitarian history and theology, and for the importance of communal ritual. We choose hymns each Sunday with intention. I doubt many people, when they leave this space, listen to hymns exclusively and by choice, but I'm offering this shallow dive into our hymns today that point out that what we say when we sing really does matter. Even if you aren't a singer or this type of music isn't for you, I encourage you to read the words as we sing along each Sunday, to code switch as needed, and to notice the immense history that we bring to our common song each Sunday. And as a side note, if you have another song from a different era that you think speaks to our community and you would like to share it or lead it, I'm trying not to look in a certain direction right now, please let me or Jim know. Why we sing is an ancient tradition. We sing together communally because long before Jesus was alive, on several continents, ancient peoples like Hindus, Egyptians, Chinese folks, Hebrews, and others sang songs together in community as part of their rituals. They sang because this notion of singing with one voice, of lifting our voices together, reminds us that we are part of a larger whole. They sang because, as Jim can share much more eloquently than I, singing together and having that common vibration of sound has a calming effect. They sang because in singing with each other, we are teaching one another. Like we teach our youngest children the alphabet song. Think about it. There is no reason our alphabet needs to be recited in a particular order. There are not letters that are better than others or need to go first. But because our brains process music so differently, we have been singing the alphabet song since it was written in 1835. And guess what? They spoke English before 1835. So I don't know how they learned their letters, but it was obviously wrong. But that song helps to teach us, just like these hymns help to teach us. Here in our UU community, it is no different. We want to teach our children, and yes, maybe ourselves as well, our history and our diverse theological beliefs in every way possible. We want to accommodate different learning styles and processing methods. And for some folks, for a lot of us, whether we admit it or not, the easiest way to learn is through song. How many of you have learned the principles by singing the children's leave-taking song on Sundays? Anyone? Yes, it's an important song. We sing on Sunday morning for so many reasons. For the comfort of joining our voices together, to learn our history and theology, to teach our children and teach ourselves, and to participate in that ancient millennia-old tradition of recognizing our interdependent web of life, while also appreciating the diversity we bring to our congregations. After all, if we all sang soprano, I'm sure it would sound lovely. But as Jim would attest, we sound so much better when we have all of the parts and all of the folks in between who are there to fill in the gaps. As you sing this Sunday and on future Sundays, remember, we aren't doing this for show. We sing because it is one of the ways we work together to live out our living tradition. Let us lift our voices together. Amen.
Please rise in body or spirit for the closing hymn. It's number 1064 in the softcover hymnal, Blue Boat Home. May we have the courage to open ourselves to the pleasures and wounds of life. May we have the strength to be open and honest with ourselves and others even when it's difficult. May we have the wisdom to understand that when we travel through the midst of uncertainty, openness and vulnerability make it more possible to find the way through that mist. To be open and vulnerable is to be alive.
Please join us after church for many of our wonderful activities today. And as you go forth today, remember the melody that intertwines us all in our relationships and in our personal lives. Go in peace.